Have you ever noticed how big money lights people up? From the simple desire for financial success to the accomplished achievement, people become like the light bulb, making the world move with its glow. This was on Thomas Edison's mind, who at first glance was an ordinary inventor. Although if you look back in history, you will be surprised to learn that he was a very clever entrepreneur. And while communicating with Napoleon Hill, he derived his formula for wealth. Imagine that today you will have the opportunity to discover another of Edison's inventions that few people will tell you about, because it will be his personal money advice. This is something you won't hear on other YouTube channels. So listen to today's information carefully and, most importantly, watch this video till the end. Thomas Edison was a very successful inventor, scientist, and businessman whose inventions had a significant impact on the world. Things like the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and the long-lasting electric light bulb are all the result of Edison's work. Called the Wizard of Menlo Park by a newspaper reporter, he was one of the first inventors to mass-produce his inventions. He is often credited with creating the first industrial research laboratory. Edison is considered one of the most prolific inventors in history, with 1,093 U.S. patents registered to his name. In addition, he also holds many patents in Great Britain, France, and Germany. After reading Edison's biography and his path to historical success, I thought that such a personality deserves the attention of every future billionaire. After all, there is more than wisdom hidden in his quotes. In his words, each of you can hear how big money is created. The value of an idea lies in its use. Useful information is a good thing, but you have to use it sometime. Otherwise, you will never get any benefits or success. This is a fairly common problem when you are interested in personal development, for example. You study a lot of books, information, with the idea that then you will get more. You are always looking for the magic chance that will bring you success without doing anything extra. You confuse yourself and feel like you're making progress by reading another book. This emotional spike is a dangerous thing because it can fool you into thinking things are actually progressing. But after a few months, nothing much happens except that you've accumulated a lot of knowledge, and you've probably forgotten half of it because your brain couldn't remember it, because you didn't put it into practice. If you want to get results, you have to take action. It's also the best way to really understand the information you've learned and maybe find ways to change and use it even better for yourself. Being busy doesn't always mean actually working. The goal of any work is to produce or achieve something. And either goal requires forethought, a system, planning, intelligence, an honest goal, and sweat. Pretending to do something doesn't actually mean doing it, asserted Thomas Edison. Going toward a goal, acting and doing something is not enough. You have to ask yourself, is what you are doing useful? Or is it just another way to keep yourself busy, to keep yourself from doing what you really want to do? You need to think about what you really want to do. You need to make plans. Then, throughout the day, you can remind yourself of that. For example, with external reminders such as written notes. This is done so that you don't go astray or get tangled up in things that are probably just routine or an easy escape from what you'd like to do but that requires more effort. I didn't lose, I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. How do you redefine failure? How do you look at it so you don't feel overwhelmed and give up? Well, you can look at failure as part of the process. You look at it as ways that don't work. You learn lessons from it. Then you let it go, focus on the present, and try again. If you look at failure as something huge, like it's the end of the world, you will probably be somewhat afraid of it. And so it may seem too painful to keep going after a few failures. Or you might not even try because your mind will project all these horrible and painful future scenarios of what will happen if you try and fail. Also, if you come from a place of abundance, failure will have less power over you. Failure can actually be beneficial if you learn to reframe it for yourself. The key is to develop a mentality of abundance, where there is always an abundance of opportunity instead of the more common mentality of scarcity, where there is always not enough of something. If you start thinking about your world this way, failure will become less painful and the fear of making mistakes will diminish. Because with an abundance mentality, you believe that there are more good opportunities even if you experience failure. Thus, you are less likely to succumb to fear and give up on opportunity. Failure still hurts even if you think about things that way, but then you think about what you can learn from failure and then you start over. When you look back, you often find that your previous failure provided some very useful, perhaps even necessary lessons for your last project to develop as well as it did. So, seeing it as a process and having an abundance mentality is one way to reframe failure to keep yourself from giving up. If you look at it that way, you will be less inclined to lie down and just give up.